What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB postseason recap. We have a guy getting a ton of flack for not getting hit by a baseball, and it kind of cost the Brewers. Also, in that game, we had one of the wackiest plays in MLB history. Also, I do have to mention that the Mariners are apparently having roasted Blue Jay for supper. So there's that. If you're brand new here, my name is Fuzzy. This is MLB Recap. We recap every baseball game almost every single day. So if you never want to miss out on the action, leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to save yourself 20 bucks off on SeatGeek with code Fuzzy. And we did it again. We went 3 for 3 again on Underdog. All you guys have to do is sign up with my code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to give you 100 bucks if you put in 5 bucks, which is crazy. So be sure to download Underdog Fantasy today. Again, if you're a brand new user, you get that crazy promo with code Fuzzy, and you get free picks as well. What's not to love? But as always, please play responsibly. Now, real quick, before we get into the games from yesterday, I do want to make a small correction. Yesterday, I insinuated that Mike Shildt had been fired by the Padres. That is not the case. He cited the toll on his mental and physical health of a full 162-game Major League Baseball schedule and the fact that he just couldn't take it anymore. So Mike Shildt is retiring. He is leaving on his own accord, so I wanted to address that real quick. And one more thing about managers, Albert Pujols, he might be back in Major League Baseball pretty soon. According to the rumors, he is leading the way in the Angels' search for a brand new manager. That would be a lot of fun to have the machine back in baseball. Here we go, Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. So we know that the Jays are already down 1. Well, down 1 in the series, and now they're down 3 in Game 2. J-Rod kept it fair, a 3-run home run off the rookie phenom Trey Savage. The Jays did do an awesome job to rally and get the crowd back into it, and I mean really back into it. I was watching live. Obviously, this was one of the loudest crowds I have ever heard. Josh Naylor made an error. Alejandro Kirk drove in an RBI for, I believe, his first base hit of the series. He's been really bad this entire postseason. Nathan Lucas, that is. It is not Lukes. I know it's spelled that way. A lot of people get that name wrong. Don't feel bad. Nathan Lucas with another clutch knock. I mean, he had 3 base hits in this game alone. Vladdy's up now. He worked a 10-pitch at bat, but he used all of his mojo, I guess, against the Yankees because he has 0 base hits so far in these first 2 games. Dalton Varsho, he's as good as he gets defensively. I will say that looked like a better catch than it was because he took a bad first step, which is rare for Dalton, but he does save the game for a moment. Then Polanco did his thing. But hold on, Cal, he did his thing as well. He pounced off the plate. The Platinum Glover made a sick play. And now we have hip hip Jorge. The 3rd home run of the postseason already for Jorge Polanco. Get your comments out the way. 6 of his 7 base hits have been RBI base hits this postseason. He has 8 RBIs in 7 games. Crawford, he blooped in another RBI. Everything is going the Mariners' way, and I mean everything. Josh Naylor, he looked a little bit banged up after that error earlier. He kind of was wincing, but he still has enough raw talent to muscle out a 2-run home run. So Josh Naylor, he's going to get absolutely paid this offseason because he's also stealing bases like no one else in baseball right now. JP Crawford had a sac fly to make it a 10 spot, and then a double play ended it. So the Mariners, they take a commanding 2-0 lead, and I hate bringing up this stat, but teams who start 0-0, like home teams who lose the first 2 games of a 7-game series, they are 3-28 series-wise, so the odds are not on the Jays side. But then again, the odds were not on the side of the 2016 Cubs. Katniss Everdeen, sometimes odds don't matter, and I really wish that Bo Bichette was healthy because the Jays, they need that spark right now. But yeah, I'm going to show this. Bo tried to make a little comeback, and I guess he re-aggravated that knee. Feel terrible for the guy. So real quick, let's talk about a preview of Game 3. Game number 3, we have Shane Bieber going up against George Kirby, and Bieber's been insane, like actually insane, versus this currently constructed Seattle roster. He has a near 40% strikeout rate and not even a 5% walk rate. Now, again, those numbers were pretty much pre-Tommy John, so who knows how he's going to hold up in Game 3. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention, he's been absolutely out of his mind when he's in Seattle, in T-Mobile Park. He has a 1.5 ERA down there. So there you go. Those are the stats on Bieber. What about George Kirby? Just looking at the raw numbers, Kirby has kind of been smacked around because the Jays make a ton of contact, so he's not really getting any whiffs throughout his career against these current Jays hitters. Now, one more thing to note about George Kirby as well is he's much better at home, but at the same time, he's had 14 strikeout games twice this year, once at home, once not at home, so we never really truly have any idea of what George Kirby is going to do, especially 2025 version of George. He's either going to be the best pitcher in baseball or just kind of mid and leave things over the plate and get smacked. So before we move on to game 1 of the NLCS, let me know, who do you think is going to take the ALCS? Do you think that the Jays have a comeback in their system or not? Game number 1 of the NLCS between the Dodgers and the Brewers. Here we go. Actually, wait, hold on. We got to talk about the Milwaukee manager, Pat Murphy, starting off the day by saying he believes Dodgers players couldn't name 8 Brewers players basically saying this is David versus Goliath. Dave Roberts, he says he knows this act, that he's been there before. He knows the dialogue. He just wants to play some baseball. So skipping to the 4th inning of this game, back to baseball, Aaron Ashby and Quinn Priester, they basically were flawless the first 3. Same with Blake Snell. Max Muncy, he's powering one to deep center field. Sal Frelick, he's tracking it down. It's not gone. Teoscar Hernandez messed up so bad. He was thrown out at home because he went back to third base. The throw beat him. It's now a force play. William Contreras gets the unassisted double play because he runs over to third base and steps on the bag. Guys, this is Little League stuff. As soon as the ball touches a glove, whether you actually catch it or not, if it's an out or not, you can run. Otherwise, everyone and their mom would just bobble baseballs out there in center field, right field, left field, just to try and get you to leave early. As soon as it touches the glove, you can go. And even Frelick was like, what the F just happened? He mouthed that. I don't know if I can show the clip, but this was one of the wildest plays in postseason history. Freddie, I have no idea where Jackson Chourio thought this baseball was going to land. He was 5 to 6 feet away from it, but it kind of looked robbable. Maybe that's just me. I have no idea, but it's 1-0 on the skyscraper. Blake Snell, he's out there in line for a W, and he's going to keep it that way for the rest of his start. Wait until the 9th inning, though, because the bullpen imploded. Snellzilla went 8 scoreless with 10 strikeouts, and Sarah Langs, she found the stat. He became the first human in postseason history to go 8 scoreless with 10 or more strikeouts, no walks, and 1 hit or fewer. I mean, Blake Snell was historically good. We'll talk more about Blake Snell in a second because he for sure contributed to the whole David versus Goliath narrative, but Abner Uribe, he lost all of his command. He walked in a run. By the way, Ohtani was intentionally walked to load them up for Mookie. Ohtani had 3 walks in this game. There's Mookie driving a run without really doing anything. Roki, he didn't have his command, just like Abner Uribe. He walked Isaac Collins, then Jake Bowers. This was a lucky bounce because honestly, he might have had a chance at scoring if this ball stayed in play. Then again, Pages does have a pretty good arm, so maybe he would have just fired it in. Jackson, that's a sac fly. So again, it would have been 1-1 without that Abner Uribe mess up, but Roki is still messing up too. He walks Yelly, in comes Blake Trinan, and William Contreras worked a walk. That is the 3rd walk of the 9th inning. So Bryce Terang, he's up with the bases loaded, and this is just, what is it called? Fight or flight, something like that. His body told him to get out the way. Like his brain and his axons and dendrites sent a pulse and a connection throughout his body to get out the way of a object coming at him, obviously, but it would have tied it, and then he swung at a pitch at his shoulders, and that's ball game. Honestly, that's one of the craziest games I've seen in quite some time, all things considered. Heading on to a preview of game number 2, we have Freddie Peralta versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So Yamamoto, he's only faced the Brewers, I believe, once in his entire career. He got torched. No strikeouts, and he allowed 5 runs. 3 of them were earned runs. But he's much better on the road, and again, he's just much better this year in general. Freddie Peralta, he's really held his own versus the current LA roster. He's held them to a .216 batting average throughout his career, just not the Dodgers in general, but current Dodgers hitters, and he's almost unbeatable at home, which is where Game 3 is going to be. He was 9-1 with a 1.7 ERA at home this year, but then again, he's kind of becoming a playoff pumpkin. He's allowed 12 earned runs his last 19 innings in the postseason. That's not going to cut it, so who do you have winning game 2? Now back to the David versus Goliath comments. So we know that the Dodgers have a payroll pretty much $200 million higher than the Brewers. And we know that there's probably going to be a work stoppage after 2026. It's almost 100% going to happen because Bryce Harper, I mean, he cussed out the freaking commissioner of baseball, Robert Manfred. Manfred, he goes around to all 30 teams to try and cultivate a relationship. And Harper was basically like, if you want to talk about the salary cap, get the F out of our clubhouse. So the salary cap is the main issue. And with the Dodgers having almost $200 million higher in payroll, yeah, that's why Pat Murphy is saying that Dodgers players couldn't even name 8 Brewers players, which I don't think is true. He's just being a little bit dramatic, but he's always kind of played to that narrative, and that's why Dave Roberts wasn't having it. But at the same time, the Dodgers did win a World Series and then immediately signed Blake Snell, and then they also dumped a couple $1 million into redoing their clubhouse. So it's not like they're only spending money on players, they're also giving their players a world-class experience, so that has to count for something, right? I mean, Angels players, they've been talking about the fact that their hot tub hasn't worked for years now. If there's a salary cap, hopefully there's a salary floor as well, because I mean, it just doesn't seem like it would work without forcing the Pirates owner or the Brewers or the Guardians owner to spend some money. I mean, imagine what the Guardians, my team, could be doing if they spent $150 to $200 million. It's just never going to happen until they sell the team, which I think could be happening over the next year or two. Dolan might actually be out of baseball soon, but that's besides the point. What do you guys think is going to happen because of the Dodgers and what has happened over the last 2 years? If they win another World Series, will baseball be ruined forever and a salary cap is a must, or do you think that a salary floor is the only thing that we need? Make sure you guys leave some comments down below, and I'm going to leave you guys with this to end today's recap. This day in MLB history, 22 years ago today, Steve Bartman tried to catch a foul ball. One of the most infamous days in sports history. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you on the next one.